I love these fabulous children's astrology books by Donna McGarry. They're delightful, whimsical, and entertaining. Visit zodiacs.com. Hello, fabulous Leo. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of September 2014 General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month, the financial focus that started for you last month is going to continue into this month. And in the early part of the month, there's going to be a full moon that takes place in a part of the sky for you that does have to do with money, yes, but it has to do with what astrologers sometimes call other people's money, that area of the sky. And it really has to do with money like grants, loans, bursaries, insurance payments, benefits. It has to do with dealing with financial institutions as well. But here's the thing with this particular full moon that I really, really like for you. And that is the fact that this full moon is speaking in harmony with other power players in the sky, namely Pluto and Saturn. And so Pluto is ancient god of wealth, thought of in one understanding. Pluto is also the power punch. It's doing the most effective thing. And when the moon speaks in harmony with Pluto, it's having an intuitive understanding as to what is going to be the most effective action, what's going to get at the root to create the outcome you want, and actually implementing that, reaching that very core place within a matter. And then we've got Saturn there as well, speaking with this particular full moon. And I find this really encouraging because Saturn is stability, yes, but Saturn will also ensure, or is a symbol of, something that lasts, something that actually manifests. It has to do with honoring the earth plane, and it has to do with the self-respect that comes when you actually actualize a thing, when it actually materializes. It's one thing to dream a thing. This is, after all, a generally dreamy full moon. However, because of these conversations this full moon is having, it does indicate that some of the dreaminess is grounded, wonderfully so, and very much to your advantage. And I do think that in the early part of the month, and especially as we move into the middle of the month and the energy of the full moon really starts to kick in, you really do want to pay attention. You want to watch if there are any long-standing financial matters that maybe have been going on for a while. The opportunity for you to actually reach a conclusion, to actually reach a settlement, is very strongly indicated. And it looks like it is a settlement that is, on the one hand, fair, yes, but on the other hand, does leave you richer, does put you in a position where you feel a lot stronger. Those of you who may not have something like that ongoing, because this is a full moon after all, and full moons like to bring things to culmination. It's not so much about the new thing starting. And so if you've been open to funding, if you've been connecting with other people, or in any way thinking about or having put into motion things that you want to do that now appear to need some sort of financial support, this is a time to really pay attention to what's going on around you. Also, you know, I gotta say with this particular full moon, it might be a good time for you to just talk to people in your family. Talk to coworkers as well. These are all people who might point you, at the very least, may point you in the right direction to actually securing more funds for yourself, or maybe there's some benefits that you qualify for that you haven't yet tapped into, that you haven't yet been made aware of. And so it does look like there's a lot of prosperity. It does want to find you, and it is the kind of prosperity that's likely to be very stable. And that is another reason why I do think that while on the one hand, yes, there is an element here of culmination. So if there's anything ongoing, it could reach fruition now to your liking. But at the same time, if it is something new, if it seems like, okay, finally, yes, your application has been successful and you qualify for some funding, it looks to be steady. And so the likelihood of at least some Leos out there experiencing that, okay, you do qualify for some benefits or some insurance payouts, it's going to be steady. It looks like it takes place over a period of time. and it leaves you feeling more stable in the process as well, at least financially speaking. By the time we get you towards the later part of the month, there is a new moon taking place, and I do think that this new moon is going to speak powerfully in many different ways. In one way, yes, romantically, and I will speak about this more in the love-focused horoscope, but what I really like about this particular new moon is that it's happening right at the very beginning of its respective sign. So it suggests you really, normally new moons are beginning things. Now it just amps up the power when the new moon is happening at the beginning of the sign. It just emphasizes the symbol of starting something again or starting something anew, beginning a path. It really is the first steps that you are going to be taking right now that have to do with connecting with others and connecting with others in a very spontaneous kind of way. So as I said, there's a romantic part to this. I'll talk about more in the love-focused video. However, there's another part to this as well that has to do with siblings. It has to do with neighbors. It has to do with being available to have those conversations, to have those communications, and to let new ideas come in as well. It does look like some of you out there may be thinking about taking on, whether it's a venture, an idea, or maybe just having to pay more attention to a sibling or to what your neighbors are doing as well. But overall, I do think, as I said, it's the start of a process. So you're going to have to give it a little bit of time to really pan out. And I do think that the likelihood of you beginning something now that may take a full 6 months to reach fruition is strongly indicated. And so this could be you being asked to be a lot more active within your condo board or whatever the case may be, depending on how your neighborhood is set up. That could be one manifestation. Another might be that one of your siblings needs help on a regular basis, at least temporarily so. And so you offer to be there and to be of service, if you will. And so that's also another way that this energy can play out, but it does look like it starts a process that can end up being really rewarding, but will need a full 6 months to actually reach fruition. So if you do make any commitments now, also just be mindful that by the time we get to this new moon, we are going to have Mercury in shadow in the same part of the sky. So if you do make a commitment now, I gotta say, there's a part of you that may be not completely clear on what it entails, and the fullness of what is actually required is going to become more evident once we get you particularly into next month and in the early part of November as well. In particular, do watch what's taking place right around the middle of the month and right around the new moon that is taking place in the second part of the month as well, about 3 weeks into the month, depending on where you are on the planet, around the 23rd or so. Because that is really going to highlight some themes and sort of really bring forward these lessons that Mercury is going to be trying to usher in. A sense of communication, a sense of connecting with others. It seems to just really get a lot more energy with this new moon. But as I said, if you make any agreements, if you make any commitments, just know that you're going to need to reevaluate that just a few weeks down the road, especially once we get into next month and you get a more fuller picture of just what's required. But for all that, it does look like at the very least things are about to get more social, things are about to get more spontaneous, and spontaneous a way that involves other people, that involves the exchanging of ideas, that involves talking, that involves being engaged on those levels. And it does look like also the opportunity, the very real opportunity is there to be connected to your siblings or cousins, if you have them, in a more meaningful way and in a more regular way as well, given a little bit more time in the fullness of time as well. And for all that, your life is made richer as a result. And that really is it. You're getting a lot of prosperity and a lot of abundance coming towards you this month. There's the practical element, yes, so that you're actually dealing with financial institutions and being made richer in that sense. But of course, I think that we all know that real richness is richness of spirit, and the richness that comes as a result of genuine connections with other people. That is what the universe is going to try to get you to initiate right now. And the more you can engage it with an open heart and a spontaneous spirit, the more abundant you will feel.